A greeting to all of you. Welcome to another video. In this video, we will learn English as well as we will understand the life struggle of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. This is an autobiography of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Waiting for a Visa. You can see here, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar born in a world that refused to see his worth. He rose to become the voice of the voiceless, the hope of the hopeless, the builder of a just nation. It is the story of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, a symbol of knowledge, symbol of courage, intellectual, unstoppable determination, and the chief architect of our constitution. His autobiography, Waiting for a Visa, is a battle against untouchability, ignorance, and injustice. Every page of his life teaches us that no chain is strong enough to bind a powerful mind. Let's start this autobiography, Waiting for a Visa. The first chapter we will see. You can see the picture of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Waiting for a Visa. Foreigner, of course, know of the existence of untouchability, but not being next door to it. So to say, they are unable to realize how oppressive it is in its actuality. It is difficult for them to understand how it is possible for a few untouchable to live on the edge of a village consisting of a large number of Hindus, go through the village daily to free it from the most disagreeable of its filth, and to carry the errand of all the sundry, collect food and the doors of the Hindus, buy spices and oil at the shop of the Hindu Banya from a distance, regard the village in every way as their home, and yet never touch nor be touched by anyone belonging to the village. The problem is how best to give an idea of the way the untouchable are treated by the caste Hindus. A general description or a record of cases of the treatment according to them are the two methods by which this purpose could be achieved. I have felt that the latter would be more effective than the former. In choosing this illustration, I have drawn partly upon my experience and partly upon the experience of others. I begin with events that have happened to me in my own first incident of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's life. He wrote, "Our family came originally from Dapoli, taluka of the Ratnagiri district of the Bombay Presidency. From the very commencement of the rule of the East India Company, my forefather had left their hereditary occupation for service in the army of the company. My father also followed the family tradition and short service in the army. He rose to the rank of an officer and was a subedar when he retired. On his retirement, my father took the family to Dapoli with a view to settling down there. But for some reason my father changed his mind. The family left Dapoli for Stara, where we lived till 1904. The first incident which I am recording as well as I can remember occurred in about 1901 when we were at Stara. My mother was then dead. My father was away on service as a cashier at a place called Goregaon in Khatau Taluka in the Stara district, where the government of Bombay had started the work of excavating a tank for giving employment to famine-stricken people who were dying by thousands. When my father went to Goregaon, he left me, my brother, who was older than myself, and two sons of my eldest sister, who was dead, in charge of my aunt and some kind neighbors. My aunt was the kindest soul I know, but she was of no help to us. She was somewhat of a dwarf and had some trouble with her legs, which made it very difficult for her to move about without the aid of somebody. Oftentimes she had to be lifted. I had sister, they were married and were away living with their families. Cooking our food became a problem with us, especially as our auntie could not, on account of her helplessness, manage the job. We four children went to school and we also cooked our food. We could not prepare bread, so we lived on pulao, which we found to be the easiest dish to prepare, requiring nothing more than mixing rice and mutton. Being a cashier, my father could not leave his station to come to Tara to see us. Therefore, he wrote to us to come to Goregaon and spend our summer vacation with him. We children were thoroughly excited over the prospect, especially as none of us had up to that time seen a railway train. It means they are very happy to go to Goregaon. Great preparations were made. New shirts of English make, bright beige welt caps, new shoes, new silk bordered dhotis were ordered for the journey. My father had given us all particulars regarding our journey and had told us to inform him on which day we were starting, so that he would send his peon to the railway station to meet us and to take us to Goregaon. According to this arrangement, myself, my brother, and one of my sister's son left Stara, our aunt remaining in charge of our neighbors who promised to look after her. The railway station was 10 miles distant from our place, and a Tonga was engaged to take us to the station. We were dressed in the new clothing especially made for the occasion, and we left our home full of joy, but amidst the cries of my aunt, who was almost prostrate with grief at our parting. It means when they are going for Goregaon, her aunt was very sad. When we reached the station, my brother bought tickets and gave me and my sister's son 2 annas, each as pocket money to be spent at our pleasure. We at once began our career of righteous living and each ordered a bottle of lemonade at the start. After a short while, the train whistled in and we boarded it as quickly as we could, for fear of being left behind. We were told to detain at Mysore, the nearest railway station for Goregaon. The train arrived at Mysore at about 5 in the evening and we got down with our luggage. In a few minutes, all the passengers who had got down from the train had gone away for their destination. We four children remained on the platform looking out for my father or his servant whom he had promised to send. Long did we wait, but no one turned up. No one came there. An hour elapsed, an hour passed, and the station master came to inquiry. He asked us for our tickets. We showed them to him. He asked us why we were tarried. We told him that we were bound for Goregaon and that we were waiting for father or his servant to come, but that neither had turned up and that we did not know how to reach Goregaon. We told them our problem, that we were well-dressed children. From our dress or talk, no one could make out that we were children of the untouchable. Indeed, the station master was quite sure we were Brahman children and was extremely touched at the plight in which he found us. As he usual among the Hindus, the station master asked us who we were. Without a moment's thought, I blurted out that we were Mahars. Mahar is one of the community which are treated as untouchable in the Bombay Presidency. He was stunned. He was surprised. His face underwent a sudden change. Suddenly he changed. We could see that he was overpowered by a strange feeling of repulsion. As soon as he heard my reply, he went away to his room and we stood where we were. 15 to 20 minutes elapsed past. The sun was almost setting, it means sunset. The father had not turned up, nor had he sent his servant. And now the station master had also left us. We were quite bewildered, and the joy and the happiness which we felt at the beginning of the journey gave way to the feeling of extreme sadness. It means we were very sad at that time because nor our father nor his servant came to take them away. After half an hour, the station master returned and asked us what we proposed to do. We said that if we could get a blue cart on hire, we would go to Goregaon, and if it was not very far, we would like to start straight away. Means they told the station master that if it was not very far away, they can go on walking by walking. There were many blue carts plying for hire. But my reply to the station master that we were Mahar had gone round among the cartmen and not one of them prepared to suffer being polluted and to demean himself carrying passenger of the untouchable classes. We were prepared to pay double the fare, but we found that money did not work. The station master who was negotiating on our behalf stood silent, not knowing what to do. Suddenly a thought seemed to have entered his head and he asked us, "Can you drive the cart?" Feeling that he was finding out a solution of our difficulty, he shouted, "Yes, we can." With that answer, he went and proposed on our behalf that we were to pay the cartman double the fare and drive the cart, and that he should walk on foot along with the cart on our journey. One cartman agreed as it gave him an opportunity to earn his fare and also saved him from being polluted. It was about half and 6 p.m. when we were ready to start. But we were anxious not to leave the station until we were assured that we would reach Goregaon before it was dark. We therefore questioned the cartman as to the distance and the time he would take to reach Goregaon. He assured us that it would be not more than 3 hours. Believing in his word, we put our luggage in the cart, thanked the station master, and got into the cart. One of us took the rein, and the cart started with the man walking by our side. Not very far from the station, there flowed a river. It was quite dry except at places where there were small pools of water. The owner of the cart proposed that we should halt there, we should stop there and have our meal as we might not get water on our way. He suggested us to take our meal. We agreed. We also said yes. He asked us to give a part of his fare to enable him to go to the village and his meal. My brother gave him some money and he left, promising to return soon. We were very hungry and were glad to have had an opportunity to have a bite, to do some meal. My auntie had pressed our neighbors women folk into service and had got some nice preparation for us to take on our way. We opened tiffin basket and started eating. We needed water to wash things down. One of us went to the pool of water in the river basin nearby. But the water really was no water. It was thick with mud and urine and excreta of the cows and buffaloes and other cattle who went to the pool for drinking. In fact, that water was not intended for human use. At any rate, the stink of the water was so strong we could not drink it. We had therefore to close our meal before we were satisfied and wait for the arrival of the cartman. He did not come for a long time, and all that we could do was to look for him in all directions. Ultimately, he came. Finally, he came, and we started on our journey. For some 4 or 5 miles. We drove the cart and he walked on foot. Then he suddenly jumped into the cart and took the rein from our hand. Suddenly he changed. He came into the cart. We thought this to be rather a strange conduct on the part of a man who had refused to let the cart on hire for fear of pollution, to have set aside all his religious scruples and to have consented to sit with us in the same cart, but we dared not ask him any question on the point. We were anxious to reach Goregaon, our destination, as quickly as possible, and for some time we were interested in the movement of the cart only. But soon there was darkness all around us. There were no street lights to relieve the darkness. There were no men or women or even cattle passing by to make us feel that we were in their midst. We became fearful of the loneliness which surrounded us. Our anxiety was growing. We mustered all the courage we possessed. We had travelled far from Mysore. It was more than 3 hours, but there was no sign of Goregaon. There arose a strange thought within us. We suspected that the cartman intended treachery and that he was taking us to some lonely spot to kill us. We feared about this. We had lot of gold ornament on us and that helped to strengthen our suspicion. We started asking him how far Goregaon was, why we were so late in reaching it. He kept on saying, "It is not very far, we shall soon reach it." It was about 10 at night when, finding that there was no trace of Goregaon, we children started crying and abusing the cartman. We were very afraid at the time. Our lamentation and wailings continued for long. We were crying, we were weeping at the time. The cartman made no reply. Suddenly we saw a light burning at some distance. The cartman said, "Do you see that light? That is a light of the toll collector. We will rest there for the night." We felt some relief and stopped crying. The light was distant, but we could never seem to reach it. It took us 2 hours to reach the toll collector's hut. The interval increased our anxiety and we kept on asking the cartman all sort of questions as to why there was delay in reaching the place, whether we were going on the same road, etc. or not. Ultimately, by midnight, the cart reached the toll collector's hut. It was situated at the foot of a hill but on the other side of the hill. When we arrived, we saw a large number of blue carts there, all resting for the night. We were extremely hungry and wanted very much to eat. But again, there was the question of water, so we asked our driver whether it was possible to get water. We wanted us He warned us that the toll collector was a Hindu and that there was no possibility of our getting water if we spoke the truth and said that we were Mahar. He said, "Say you are Mohammedans and try your luck." On his advice, I went to the toll collector's hut and asked him if he would give us some water. "Who are you?" he inquired. I replied that we were Muslims. I conversed with him in Urdu, which I knew very well, so as to leave no doubt that I was a real Muslim. But the trick did not work, and his reply was very curt. "Who has kept water for you? There is water on the hill if you want to go and get it. I have none." With this, he dismissed me. I returned to the cart and conveyed to my brother his reply. I don't know what my brother felt. All that he did was to tell us to lie down. The blocks had been unyoked and the cart was placed sloping down on the ground. We spread our beds on the bottom planks inside the cart and laid down our bodies to rest. We were taking rest. Now that we had come to a place of safety, we did not mind what happened, but our minds could not help turning to the latest event. There was plenty of food with us. There was hunger burning within us. With all this, we were to sleep without food. That was because we could not get no water, and we could get no water because we were untouchable. Such was the last thought that entered our mind. Means that they were very hungry, they were very thirsty, and they have money also, but they could not get water because of their untouchability. I said, we had come to a place of safety. Evidently, my elder brother had his misgivings. He said it was not wise for all four of us to go to sleep. Anything might happen. He suggested that at one time two should sleep and two should keep watch. It means that at a time two sleep and two woke up. So we spent the night at the foot of that hill. Early at 5 in the morning, our cartman came and suggested that we should start for Goregaon. We flatly refused. We told him that we would not move until 8 o'clock. We did not want to take any risk, any chance. He said nothing. So we left at 8 and reached Goregaon at 11. My father was surprised to see us and said that he had received no information, no intimation of our coming. We protested that we had given intimation. He denied the fact. Subsequently, it was discovered that the fault was of my father's servant, not my father's fault. He had received our letter but failed to give it to my father. This incident has a very important place in my life. I was a boy of 9 when it happened, but it has left an indelible impression on my mind. Before this incident occurred, I knew that I was an untouchable, and that untouchable were subjected to certain indignities and discriminations. For instance, I knew that in the school I could not sit in the midst of my class student according to my rank, but that I was to sit in a corner by myself. I knew that in the school I was to have a separate piece of gunny cloth for me to squat on in the classroom, and the servant employed to clean the school would not touch the gunny cloth used by me. Even the servant did not touch his clothes. I was required to carry the gunny cloth home in the evening and bring it back the next day. While in the school, I knew that children of the touchable classes, when they felt thirsty, could go out to the water tap, open it, and quench their thirst. All that was necessary was the permission of the teacher. It means that they get the permission of teacher and they quench their thirst. They can drink water from that particular tap. But my position was separate, but it was different on my side. I could not touch the tap, and unless it was opened for it by a touchable person, it was not possible for me to quench my thirst. I cannot drink the water by myself from that tap. In my case, the permission of the teacher was not enough. The permission of the teacher was not enough for Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. The presence of the school peon was necessary, for he was the only person whom the class teacher could use for such a purpose. It means that only the peon was allowed to give water to that boy, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. If the peon was not available, I had to go without water. If the peon was not available, I had to go without water all the day. He spent in the school without water if the peon was absent on that day. The situation can be summed up in the statement no peon, no water. No peon, no water. At home, I knew that the work of washing clothes was done by my sister. Not that there was no washerman in Stara. Not that we could not afford to pay the washerman. Washing was done by my sister because we were untouchable, and no washerman would wash the clothes of an untouchable. It means that we have money, we can pay for washing the clothes, but the washerman refused to wash our clothes. The work of cutting the hair or shaving the boys, including myself, was done by our elder sister, who had become quite an expert barber by practicing the art on us. Note that there were no barber in Stara. Note that we could not afford to pay the barber. We can pay the barber. We have money, but no barber accept the money. The work of shaving and hair cutting was done by my sister because we were untouchable, and no barber would consent to shave an untouchable. How discrimination Dr. B.R. Ambedkar tolerated. All this I knew, but this incident gave me a shock such as I never received before, and it made me think about untouchability, which before this incident happened was with me a matter of course, as it is with many touchable as well as the untouchable. This is the life story of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. We can see how discriminated the next part in next video. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Bhim.